Hello, we are going to see the quality control in building process at horizontal surfaces. Just exactly, we are going to see the outside building surfaces. First of all, we will make a materials reception. That's a technical reception following the prescriptions of the quality control plan. We will find in the quality control plan all the specifications about the check we have to do in the materials before to stockpile the materials inside our work. The specifications like the quality control mark, the CE mark, the seals or the warranty from the producers. In some cases we will have to do some tests to the materials before to put it inside the work following the characteristics of the accredited laboratory. When all the check is ready for the materials, we are ready to put on inside our unit. We are going to divide the outside surfaces depending on the material we are going to use. Let's go to see the stoneware surfaces. Like previous operations, we will verify our supporter is completely ready to put on in chairs. For instance, if we are going to cover a floor in the organized area, we have to be sure that the resistance is completely ready and we have the floor just ready to put on in chairs. Like previous operations, we will verify that all the tools and all the machinery that we are going to use to make this unit is ready, is clean, and we have all that we need. Then we will begin with the reframing. In the reframing, we will divide all the surface of the element that we are going to cover by parts. These parts are called units to inspection following the division who is marked in the quality control plan. In the reframing, we will make this part, and for each of them, we will include a net. This net could be a nylon net or a steel net, but in both cases, the mission or the using of this net is just to connect the supporter and the new surface that we are going to cover. The surface execution has to follow some rules. First of all, we will verify the net is in all the surface that we are going to cover. Then we will add the quantity of mortar that will connect each tile, each stoneware that we are going to put on in the surfaces. This mortar is very important to use as a waterproof cement in the composition, because if the mortar has waterproof cement, it will guarantee to us inside the building our waterproof is quite better. So we will extend this cement mortar behind all the area of each tile of each stoneware that we are going to put on in the surfaces. Then we will prepare each stoneware, each tile from the covering. The preparation just contains, first of all, put on inside water. We have to give the humidity of the tile in order to be sure the tile will not take the water from the mortar. It's very important to add previously all the water it needs in order to be sure it will not take it from the mortar. So after to put on in water, to have a humidity of this surface, we will apply a little surface of white cement mortars. It's a good adhesive between the both mortars. So we will apply it directly in the tile by hands, and we will put on a very thin surface of this white cement mortar that will guarantee the adhesive between the both elements. Then we can apply directly the tile, the stoneware, to our surface. We will be helped by this tool, and we will continue control and check that the surface is completely regular horizontal. We will use all the tools, like we can see here in this picture, the steel and the levels, that guarantee to us the continuity in the surface is completely horizontal. In some cases, we can use these little plastic separators that guarantee to us the joint between each of the pieces has the same size in all the cases. You can see here how the little separators are completely fixed and the line of the joint is completely straight and with the same width in all cases. Then we will continue with the next tile until all the surface is completely covered. Like our last verifications, we will verify, we will check if all the surface is completely finished and all the tiles, all the stonewares are completely fixed. We will take care about the singular elements like the joints between the vertical elements and the paving And then we will check it too if the paving has in the borders a special pieces with a corner in a circular area. It will help to us in the order to the use, and I think so. So if we check it, it's very ready, we can be used to the new building. In the case of outside parquet surfaces, we are going to use a different material. In this case, we are going to use wood. Like a previous operations, we will regularize the surface where we are going to put on the tiles of wood. It's very important to regularize it depending on the place we are. Made it by bricks, made by work, or we can use prefabricated pieces. In both cases, the wood beams, the strips that will configure a surface, a regular surface, and the place where we are going to put on the tiles. In some cases, in the reframing, we will divide all the surface by these strips depending on the size that we want to consider. If our pieces of wood are resistant enough, and depending on the width, we can put on the reframing, we can put on the strips more separately or less. But I recommend not to be more separately than 50 centimeters between each of them. Then we will begin to put on these prefabricated elements that guarantee to us the completely horizontal surfaces, because we can regulate it in the high position, and we can obtain just to reach horizontal surfaces depending and without no problem if our supporter is regular or not. Then we will begin with the surface execution. We will apply each part of the tiles, of the wood tiles, by lines. Each one we will be in origin to the end, just supporting each one of them. It's very important to fix it always in a perpendicular direction from the strips. Then we will make the details of each one of them. We can see here like the joint is completely in a concavity and a convexity in order to be sure and fix it. We can be using these metallic pieces with a screw or that will fix it directly to the strip, or we can use a silicone. In both cases, we will let a little movement from the dilatancy of the pieces of wood. In all cases, we will guarantee that the pieces are completely fixed and the joints are completely closed, because all the singular elements have to be threaded and we have to reach a completely horizontal surface. Like a last verifications, we will verify all the surface is completely ready. In the case we have in the outside areas a very quantity of water or a chemical aggressiveness, we have to control and we have to protect by a special painting the wood in order to be sure our wood will have a long period of life. Thank you very much.